Now we'll go through the process of finding a confidence interval about a proportion given the information that we see here. Now, the viewing example is going to walk you through using z-scores. I'm going to show you how to use Desmos in this video. All right, the first thing we want to do is find p hat. So p hat is what you get when you divide x by n. So I'm going to call it p hat. I'm just going to use p, and that is x, that's 553, divided by n, 1075. All right, so that's the value for p hat. Now q hat, we'll need that. Q hat is 1 minus p. So if I just type that, I get p and q. Okay. N in this case is the sample size it's given me directly. N. So there's that. All right, and then the way these confidence intervals work, they're going to be centered at p hat. They're going to be centered at this value. So I'm going to just grab this. You could also just use the letter p up here in the bell curve, but I'm going to grab that. That's going to be the new mean of my curve. And then this one's important. The standard deviation of these for a confidence interval is the square root of a fraction, right? And that fraction is going to have p times q in the numerator. It's technically, again, p hat times q hat, but that's going to be in your numerator, and your denominator is just going to be n. Okay. You can also, I'm just going to change this back to p. It is p. I just grabbed that, but it's the same thing. But this is how we get it. We're just going to use p hat here in the mean position. We're going to use the square root of p times q divided by n. All right, all that underneath the radical in the standard deviation position. All right. Now I'm going to zoom in on it a little bit so you can see this a little better. Let me get my head out of the way. And this is our confidence interval, left end to the right end, which is, oops, let me change my confidence level to the 99%. So I change this to 0.99. And now this is my confidence interval. This is my lower number, and this is my upper number. All right, I'm going to switch it around to where the lower is on top. But that is the confidence interval that's going to ultimately ask me for. All right, now I've got everything done in here. Now I'm ready to do the questions. The best point estimate is this. All right, rounded to 3 places, it'll be 0.514. So p hat is our best point estimate for the population proportion. All right, what's the margin of error? The margin of error is the distance from the upper number. Remember, this is the upper number to that value there, to that number, the mean. So if I take this upper number minus p hat, which is this number right here, remember that's how we get our margin of error from a previous video. So 0.039 roughly. All right, and then your confidence interval, again, that is this number right here, the upper number in that second position, the lower number in that first position. So I want it 3 places, so that's 0.475 here, 0.475, and in the upper position, I want that number. Okay, rounded to 3 places, that'll be a 4, so 0.554. So that is giving you the confidence interval when you type this in there. Okay, now you have to have, if you're going to type p and q and n in that box, you have to define them on here somewhere. As soon as you define them, you can type that in there. Change this to bounds. Change this to your confidence level. Make sure you select enter. Change this to your confidence level, and those 2 numbers are your confidence interval. All right, now you have to understand what you're doing here. You've got 1,075 people asking if they feel vulnerable to identity theft. That's a sample. You're doing this for all people. Do you feel vulnerable to identity theft? So this is 99% confident where the true population proportion for all people would fall. You don't know where that number is, but you're 95% confident it's in this red region right here on the number line. So that's what a confidence interval is. If you don't see the word confidence, so I don't see confidence here, it's not going to be that. I see confidence on choice B, I see it in choice C, I don't see it in D. So it's going to be B or C. But B says we're confident that the sample proportion is the population proportion. Absolutely not. Your confidence comes from the width of the interval. So it's not mentioning the interval there. So there's the one it is. We're 99% confident that the interval from that lower bound to the upper bound, these 2 numbers, contains the population proportion for all people, not just these 1,075.